Alright guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel. This is Media Guy Doug with Daddy Joel. This is the Punisher's Paintball channel coming at you with another gun comparison. This one's going to be the Battle of Two Titans today. Yes. Honestly, this is two very popular, very heavy-hitting markers, so I'm excited to get to it. If you guys enjoy this video and other content like this and you're new, please subscribe to the channel. Check out the links in the description if you'd like to pick up either one of these markers, and there'll be another link if you'd like to become a paid member joining this channel, getting early access to stuff, some exclusives, whole bunch of other cool stuff. We have a video right here explaining more about that, but we will catch you after the intro, guys.
I am. It's a fancy one, and you guys will see it in the shooting portion of this video. Luxe Idol, phenomenal marker.
Phenomenal.
Been a Luxe guy for a long time. Still have my TM40, and love that thing. And it's treated me well throughout the years. So this is like, yeah, I mean, these are probably two of the most popular markers out there besides maybe the CS3 or...
Right, the CS3 is kind of an unfailing
DSR Plus
type
maybe.
of thing. But
so let's get into it, guys. I mean, you know, these are going to be your high-end markers. These are going to be your $1,600 price point markers. And what do you get for that? So let's talk about the packaging first. Doug?
So over here on the Luxe Camp, this, mind you, this is a used marker, guys, so we're going to do what we can here. Open her up. This is a pretty hefty case. There's a lot that comes in here. It is not lightweight. What you will get is a lot of barrel storage. I'll even count. So you got your barrel back, your barrel tip, insert, 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 insert. So plus keeping one in there, you have room for 6 inserts.
Yes.
Just in this case alone. And something interesting, it's a little cumbersome, but I appreciate where they're going at. You have a separate gun case inside of your gun case to actually keep the marker protected. Theoretically, you could just take this if you're one of the downsize for a day and only shoot one barrel side or something like that. You could just take this for your marker, right? Or you could even store a second marker in there and then put something else in between. So super cool on that. I'll shove this back in real quick.
Lots of different options when it comes to...
Very modular, if you will.
Yes, it is very modular. That's a good way of describing it.
On the other side, same concept. It's a kind of a leather case that does open. So I'll open up here for you guys. Now, since this is one of our used pieces, they did keep the wrenches. We replaced it with some Planet wrenches. You will normally get Luxe wrenches specifically. There's also going to be a Luxe barrel sock that comes with it normally, but is not in here. But you will get lube just like this, your charging cable, and a little wall piece, a wall plug, and then your parts kit in here. To my knowledge, it is still not labeled.
It is not.
As Joel has
still
lamented.
waiting.
He's
still
lamented
waiting.
before, but you know, maybe that's a little update that'll come. Either way, and there's room in here to put more stuff in here too if you really want. You can put a microfiber in there.
You could.
Your options are endless. So, tons of storage, and I believe we did find out that there is a handle that comes in here that can get put on in these attachments. So, there is a carry handle that you can work with.
Well, real quick, when we get new idols, this video is being filmed at a bad time because we don't have any new idols in stock currently at this second, but it didn't come with it, but I think it's the fact that you can if you want to.
I will look at the one my cousin just bought. I could have sworn his came with.
Yeah.
Maybe that's
Okay.
something they're updating.
Yeah.
Not sure. We'll get back to you guys on that one, but you can put a carry handle on it. It just does not come already attached and ready to go as it does on the Planet. And also, just talk about the casing. Not the hardest casing. It's rigid, it keeps its shape, but it's pretty soft. So
Yeah, for sure. And it's cleanable.
Yes, it is.
You know, as far as like wiping it off and everything else like that. All right, so the Planet Eclipse, you guys already saw me take off the sleeve and do what we do best here at Punisher's Paintball, which is toss the sleeve. And then, secondly, the box. We're going to set it to the side here because vast majority of people just keep the actual case. Case is very nice. You know, you guys have seen our product reviews, or maybe you're watching this for the first time, and if you are, then if you watch our other gun comparison videos, you will see that that most part,
that case doesn't
love this case. Now, this case does not dent. It does get stained a little bit with paint and dirt, but overall it maintains its shape very well compared to their previous cases with the CS2
highly protective.
and before. Very protective. Does have a nice carry handle, good zippers. Opening it up, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total slots, so you can carry a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
There'd be 5
inserts.
So you do get one less insert with that.
That is correct. And we've got lube, we've got a branded barrel cover, we've got your labeled parts kit, which, coming from a tech side of things, is huge.
It's huge.
And if there's one gun that should have labeled O-rings, it's the Luxe because they have many different
Different types,
styles
different
of
durometers.
O-rings. Yeah. Color manual, very nice touch there. I
That's
know that
worth the
Planet
paper.
went away. I'm not sure about the Geo. Let's check here real quick. But I know that Planet went away from having the parts diagram in the back of what size O-rings was everything. And it looks like they do. So at least for the bolt, just for the bolt. Okay, so coming from a tech perspective, this is highly annoying to me. Because it's only an extra page or two to do this. What they went to was like an interactive model online.
Okay.
And I'm not crazy about it because it takes forever. Like I was just servicing Cam's gun last weekend at Max.
Does it take a while
It's
to
G-Tech 180R. And I had to pull it up online, click on it, as compared to just set up my manual, comb through, boom, regulator, here's my O-rings, rebuild it, done, right? So, not crazy about that. I wish they had included that for the price that you're paying. Nice Allen keys, and then obviously the marker. Probably, you know, like we said in plenty of our other gun comparison videos, this is definitely up there case-wise. Now, with that said, Doug, I mean, that gives you more options.
This is one of the closest comparisons to a casing that we've had, honestly.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, they definitely upped it from the previous, from the Luxe TM40.
Yeah.
It's definitely a game changer, and they've done a good job. I think it's much more cumbersome to try and work through as compared to working through this.
It's a little annoying to get stuff out, but it just holds a lot.
It does. For me, I like how I can just hold on to this, carry it, toss it, whatever the case may be. That one's a little bit thicker. It's kind of a more awkward shape, if you ask me. I'm picking the Planet case.
This is really close, and I want to give the point to Luxe because you can hold another barrel insert, which I think is super slick, but I'm gonna give it to Planet as well, just because it's less cumbersome, it's easier to work with, and the carry handle already comes attached. What confuses me is that the shocker, right, the lower level marker, comes with a case with a carry handle that's just sewn in.
Yeah.
What? That's nice that this has attachments, but like, what the fuck?
I think for me, if you're somebody that really likes to be super organized, the Luxe case might win.
Sure.
Just because there's more pockets and everything to kind of keep everything where you want it. But when it comes to just overall functionality, I think that the Planet cases wins.
I'm gonna give the point to Planet as well.
Okay.
Begrudgingly, but yes.
Next up, we're going to talk about barrel between the two. Geo R5 offers the 14.5-inch three-piece barrel system of the S63 barrel. You get I believe it's a 7 or 8-inch control bore. You get a 14.5-inch barrel. You get the little FL sleeve, and if you have different color grips, it kind of adds a nice little portion of customizability on that. Doug, what do you got?
So here we have the latest edition of the Luxe Freak barrel. With the barrel backs with these now, it's no longer an open back where you could previously see what color insert you had without having the barrel out. Now you do actually have to unscrew it and take a look at it in order to see what you're working with. So I actually like that though. It keeps
Really?
It keeps your color scheme kind of more on point, right? Here's my thing. Can you take your insert out, because I want to see, because I don't remember if the Freak or the power insert is longer. These tolerances are very tight, so.
Yeah, it probably just needs a little bit of lube on it.
So, you are losing, that's about an inch of
half an inch to an inch, yeah.
of control bore. So here's the thing. I think this barrel is more attractive and points better. However,
I agree.
However, I am going to go for once with the S63 because it is a longer control bore. And something I like, God forbid if you ever take a hardcore sample and get a lot of paint in the front, and you got to take your barrel front off and just use that, you will eventually lose your insert or have to hold on to it and risk shooting yourself in the hand. Here, it's latched and anchored in the back, so it's not an issue.
Oh, if you lose your tip.
Yeah, if you no longer have your barrel tip,
that's
have to
a
stick it in your
good
pocket.
point, Doug. Because we have seen that.
Just thinking very practically, that happens a
the
lot.
snake guy from Paintball Fit, I'm not sure if it was Trent or Scott, did that at the finals World Cup last year.
Yep.
He actually had to take the tip off.
Yep.
You know, I was going to say I like the Freak more, but then you hit me with that.
That's the thing. I like the Freak more, but I think practicality.
Doug, one last thing. Unscrew that real quick.
Sure.
I am not crazy about the 14.5-inch and the 15-inch barrels.
So I don't think
true.
Okay, so
14
this is going to be a 14. The 15 is on the shocker.
Yep.
This is going to be shorter.
Yeah,
so
I'm picking the Freak barrel.
You're picking the Freak?
I'm picking the Freak barrel because aesthetically and with the way it points from the way that it points and everything else like that, I like the way it points. The customizability of the sleeves and all that stuff, to me, is not big enough. I hate the fact that they went away from having the windows. I disagree on that side of things, because it was nice to be able to easily glance into it and say, all right, you know, what insert I'm running without having to pull it off. But I like the fact that it's 14 inch, and I like the way it points better than the S63, and that's strictly the reason why. Like, if I could put a Freak XL that was anode matched to my Geo on this, I would. Because I love the way it points.
I remember.
Or a carbon barrel.
With your CS3 that you shot, you got a die barrel that you had like custom anode matched.
Yeah, and that was 15 inch, and I actually went back to the S63 because the extra length kind of bothered me after a while. I like having a true 14 inch, so.
I get it. I'm going to give the point for me to Planet, though. Just because of functionality. Even though it's ugly, it functions, so.
It does function better. Okay, next up, we're talking about feed neck between the two. So the feed neck on the Planet Eclipse marker does have this really nice thumb wheel and a nice lever, and it comes off the marker extremely easy, which that's definitely a big plus compared to the Luxe.
I mean, functionality-wise, it's you still got a nice lever, you still have a nice thumb wheel. It does not come out of the body as easily. You have to like take the whole thing apart and unscrew it, right?
It threads into the
it threads into the body.
Into the body of the gun.
It's kind of a wash for me. I do think this one is wider, where that one is taller. So it's kind of neither here nor there. For me, it's a wash.
Really?
Yeah.
I like the Q-lock on the Luxe better.
Really?
Yeah, because it's a little bit lower profile, and it just, I just like the profile of it better.
I'll go with that then, because again, like I do like that it's lower. It is wider, sure, but like lower, I think overall is going to be better.
Yeah.
So points to the Luxe for that one from both of us.
Okay, next up, guys, we're talking about eye system between the two.
Ooh.
So the Geo R5 offers the reflective system of the, basically you just pull down on the grip, remove that, and then you're going to pop this, and this just opens up. There is a reflective system on the inside there that reflects on this little eye cover here, and this pops back into place, and then snap it back in, and you're ready to rock. Very simplistic design, pretty much foolproof. When you shop a bunch of paint, you just take that out, clean it up, and you're ready to rock. The eye system on the Luxe.
As I'm trying to get it out. This is not the easy. I also don't really have much of a nail.
Yeah, so push a little pressure there.
Oh, you push pressure on the front to pop it up? I gotcha.
Oh, as I drop it.
Nice.
Anyways.
So, you take your cover off. Your detent is right there. You can like peel the eye itself off here and then clean it. Got to be careful because it is still kind of like a cable that's attached right there, so it's a little, could be delicate. It's better than it used to be, but I don't know, man. I feel like the Geo R5 system is a little better, a little less cumbersome. So, yeah. Did you find? We'll find that piece later.
Yeah.
That's all right. You guys get to look at the open eye system on the Luxe here, but I am gonna go.
I'll grab it real quick and we'll be right back.
We got. Put this bad boy back in. Not overly difficult to get in or out by any means, but you know, just I think it's a better system on the R5. It's a little more robust.
It is. You know, from a cleaning perspective, the one thing I do like about the Luxe marker is, for the most part, the eyes do a good job of cleaning. If you chop some paint, if you take the bolt out and you just swab it,
the actual
really good
breach
job. Yeah, if you just swab the entire breach, most of the time your eye fall goes away. So that is nice as compared to taking this apart and cleaning it. But you still have to take the marker apart at some point and
at some point you'll have to break the whole thing down.
So overall, though, I'm picking the eye system on the R5 between the two, mainly because the Luxe Idol still retains the eye ribbon system instead of cables, and that is super annoying because they have a tendency, they're prone to ripping, and when they rip, you have to replace them.
Yeah. So sorry, you're giving the point to
the Geo.
Okay, same here.
Yeah. Okay, next up, battery changing between the two.
So one is a chargeable gun and one is a changing gun. I always will default to a gun that I don't have to worry about charging.
I agree with Doug. I do think that the Idol has been advancements from the TM40 as far as,
for sure,
you know, removing the back plate on the back and plugging it in. It's USB-C, so it's the most simplistic out of the different things. It is a little pain in the butt to get off.
It's tough.
It definitely snaps in there well. Doug's struggling.
Yeah, you can tell I don't really do this ever. In fact, I'm not even going to bother. You guys don't need to see it. We'll do it later.
Yeah.
Or never. It's in other videos. You can find them. It's not worth me ripping my finger off right now. But it's not coming off in a game. That was my concern when they first showed us the design. Like, yeah, but like, is that reliable?
It's definitely a more robust design.
Oh God, yeah.
Than the previous design. So kudos to them for that. It is an improvement, but I am with you on that as far as the fact that I do like having AA's with the Geo R5 as compared to a rechargeable battery system. I think the closest thing from a rechargeable system that I like is actually the GTX from Active, because you get the power bank.
100%.
So if you're at the field, you don't have the possibility of, you know, running out of battery and having to charge it in your car as compared to having the power bank, which is included in the purchase of the Active.
You can just keep it in the pit and charge your gun between points.
Yeah, so that is a nice touch, but I still like having actual physical batteries. Takes AA's. My Spire takes AA's, so.
One pack of batteries and you're good for like 2 months.
Yep. Next up, trigger between the two.
Luxe.
I'm not crazy about either one of these triggers, to be 100% honest with you.
I actually really like the way the Luxe did the trigger for this one. I do.
I do too. I'm going to probably pick the Geo.
Makes you say. You typically aren't a huge fan of the kind of triggers.
I'm not, but it's the fact that it's 5-way adjustable. Like, I equally am just kind of meh about either one of them. So for me, I like the fact that it's 5-way adjustable, and I do tend to bring my trigger face out a little bit because it's a little bit easier for me when I'm walking the trigger to get right to it instead of having to continue to pull my triggers to find it.
Right.
So for that reason, I'm picking the Geo just because it's got one more way of adjustment compared to the Luxe Idol.
That's fair. So we will disagree on that one.
Yeah, for sure. Board/programming.
Ooh.
This is a tough one, Doug.
So
they're both good.
They are, and Luxe really like hit it out of the park with this new screen that they made for the Idol. It's super sick. It's reminiscent of the Dai M series guns, right, where it's got this big fat screen on the side. The way that it functions, in my opinion, is simple. It's familiar to me because I've used the shockers for a while, used the trigger to cycle through. Pretty simplistic, but I gotta say, I will give it to Planet for the simplicity of how to program them. Which or maybe not even the simplicity, but you can scroll either way, right? Because if I make a mistake as I'm scrolling through for my options for the Luxe, I gotta go all the way back through the options to get back to where I want to be. Whereas the Planet, if I scroll down one too far, I hit the top button and scroll up. So for that, even though the screen is nicer on the Idol, it is way more premium. I completely will subscribe to that. I like the functionality better on the Geo 5 or Geo R5.
I would agree with you 100%. I think the functionality between the two, the R5 wins. I think that the fact that the Luxe Idol board will speak to you and tell you, you know, what are you doing. But I do agree with you as far as having to cycle all the way through in case you miss a setting that you need to. And then like actually getting into these settings can be a little bit more pain in the butt on the Luxe because you got to pull the trigger, turn the gun on. And it's just, the other thing I've noticed with the Luxe Idol is as you're programming and you pull the trigger, there's a slight delay.
There is.
To change to the next setting.
Which is how you end up missing one because you're like, oh, did it not register? And then you click it again, then it
registers twice. Yeah. So yeah, for functionality purpose, I do like that. I do really like the screen between the two. I think I'm going to pick the Planet marker as well, strictly because of what you said. Yeah. There's just it's a little bit easier to get in and out and do what you got to do and get out of it. So
agree.
I would say though that the Luxe does have more. I think it has more firing modes overall.
Really,
it's got some interesting modes to it, whereas this does not.
That's true because this has like response and all that, like the weird kind of. Like...
So that is a good point for the Luxe as far as that goes. But most of us are shooting NXL, unless you're just a full-time rec player. Then full-time rec player, I think that they might choose that because you got different features.
Sure.
Whereas this, for your NXL or regional X-Ball player, you might pick the R5 just because it's a little bit easier, back and forth.
A little more straightforward.
Okay, ASA between the two.
I'm
picking the Luxe.
Dog, so am I, honestly. It's just nice.
I do like the Luxe. I like the flip lever instead of the pops ASA on the Geo.
I'll even say the pops low-key is kind of easier. I just like the lever. I don't know.
I do. I like the lever.
I think it's neat. I think it's cool. I like that they made it more robust. They made it flat so you're not just digging one skinny little arm underneath your nail, whatever. I'm going with the Luxe.
Yeah, I agree too. So
neither one has any super duper problems, right?
No, they're both great. They're both great. I was kind of also thinking from the functionality service perspective between the two. And the Luxe, the screws on the Luxe, taking it apart, they're a little bit smaller and stuff like that. You okay, bud?
I'm tired, man. I worked till 2:30 last night. I'm tired. Hosting karaoke is not for the weak.
Yeah, for sure. But overall, there's no reason, like, there's not a fail point on the ASA for the Luxe markers. That's a huge point for me to say from a maintenance perspective. That's a pain in the butt.
Yeah, it's not enough to make a difference.
Yeah.
Ergonomics.
Yes, ergonomics between the two.
Luxe.
Geo. It's the whole reason I'm not using the Luxe.
Geo too big for me.
Yeah, Geo for me fits perfectly in the hands.
5'8", 6'3". So
6'2", 3 Honda. So, yeah, guys, for me, ergonomically, the Geo just fits better on the hands. The Luxe is too small of a marker for me.
And I'm going to call myself out. I used to say the Luxe was too big, and that's why I didn't use one, like, full time. Something's different about this one, though. I don't know what it is. Like, ergonomically, this feels different to other Luxes. I can tell it's the same family, but, and you have commented before, the foregrip is different than the TM40. Circumference-wise, I think it's a little skinnier, maybe. Slightly different shape, a little more rounded edges. Yeah. So we're going to go 1 for 1 on that one.
Yeah.
The R5 does feel nice. It's just like
It's a big gun.
huge on me.
It's a little bit bigger. Next up, guys, we're going to talk about weight between the two markers. So we've got our trusty scale here, and Doug has his rechargeable batteries on the Luxe, and we're at 0. Go ahead with the Luxe. We are at 1 pound, 14 point whatever ounces. And then we've got the Geo.
Whatever.
Sorry, we have weighed it so many times. And then for the Geo, we're at 1 pound, 15.9 ounces.
So the Luxe will take the point on that one.
Almost by 2 ounces, guys. So, you know, it's a smaller marker. It's a little bit lighter weight. That it's got going for it,
That
especially
tracks.
for your, you know, smaller builds or your front players or just people that like a more compact setup. The
Yep.
Luxe is definitely more appealing on that.
Which is so funny
side
to
of
call a
things.
Luxe a compact gun, but like compared to that, I get it.
Yeah. Okay.
Next up on the list.
Maintenance between the two markers.
Let's take it, Scott. Stop.
Maintenance in the Geo R5, guys, very, very simple. Everything's going to be either NBR 70, so 70 durometer O-ring. There is like 1 or 2 O-rings on the bolt that's 90 durometer. Everything else is standard size. The ASA on it is very simple. The regulator on it's very simple. Taking the marker apart is very simple, but it does require 2 screws to take it in and out. The Luxe bolt system is going to be a little bit more complex because there are multiple different types of O-rings on the bolt system. From a durometer perspective, taking the trigger frame off is very, very simplistic, and the max flow regulator is very, very simplistic to take apart. And you know, I think if I had to strip one of these markers, it's going to my time to strip a Luxe is going to be a lot quicker. But when it comes to actually maintaining the 2 of the markers, your day-to-day run-of-the-mill kind of stuff, you know, it's a different thing between reliability and maintenance. I'm actually going to pick the Luxe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the TM40 was very simplistic to take apart, clean it, you know, head to toe, put it back together. Your day-to-day maintenance, if you're not having to like rebuild something, I mean, the Luxe is very simple. Just pull the bolt out, lube it every blue moon. The max flow regulator has a very large reg seat, so the chances that you damage the reg seat on it is very minimal unless you're just not being very smart with it.
Right.
So for day-to-day maintenance, I'm actually going to pick the Luxe because of the Pro-Lock frame and being able to take the frame off, clean it, put it back together.
And you have said before that the Luxe reg is one of your favorite regs that's out there because it's just
Yes.
simple.
It is very simple. Yeah. And, you know, don't get me wrong, the reg on this is very simple too, but something about it, it's just easy to get to and take it apart. So next up,
Point for
guys,
the Luxe.
point for the Luxe. Build quality / reliability, separate discussion.
So that's the tough one. Planet just has built this reputation of guns that just work no matter what. However, as we've seen this past winter, the R5 has put that to the test a little bit. Luxe has a history of not having the best QC, but after about a year of having the markers out, kinks worked out, very reliable.
It's
so
almost
it's a tough
like,
call.
yeah, for me, I'm almost splitting this in half between build quality and reliability. I think from a reliability perspective, if you're somebody that's using both these markers in cold weather, I'm picking the Idol, actually. So from a reliability perspective, I'm actually probably going to pick the Luxe Idol, but when it comes to build quality between the two, I'm going to pick the Planet marker. And this is specific to the Geo platform. If we were doing, you know, the Luxe Idol versus CS3, I'd say bolt, Planet wins in general.
Mm-hmm.
But there has been quite a few issues as far as the gun not cycling and everything else like that, and inconsistencies in colder weather. And the Luxe is pretty notorious for being one of the best cold weather markers there is.
And I've personally been told that a lot at the field that I play at. So like,
level.
At the field I play at, yeah.
Yeah.
People have absolutely come up and like been like,
Yeah.
dude, I'm grabbing my Luxe today. It's cold out. I'm like,
Yep. Yeah. So for me, I'm choosing the build quality of the Planet marker, but I'm choosing overall reliability. I'm actually going to pick probably the Luxe Idol. Believe it or not.
We're gonna have to split that 1-to-1 because there's just not like they're it's kind of a tie between the two.
Yeah.
For different reasons.
I never
but we
thought I'd
still
say
end up-
this, but
I know.
I would say overall, like, this is the closest that's going to get to comparing a reliability
Yeah.
to anything Planet. That's kind of the gold standard, but something about the Luxe, like my TM40 was a workhorse. We've had a few issues with some of the idols, but for the most part, they've been pretty dang good.
I had one come in. One of my guys got that the battery was a little weird out the gate, but we just reset the board and it wouldn't charge when I would plug it in. But then we just reset the board and it charges fine. So just weird stuff like that. Hence, build quality is kind of more Planet, but reliability is over here once you get your shit working. It's a tough one.
All right, guys. Next up, we're talking about tech support between the two markers. Geo R5, once again, as we always say with Planet, they're doing a good job of delegating, making sure that they've got techs pretty much everywhere. Luxe has stepped up their game this year as far as making sure that they are at some of the more regional events.
They were at WC.
They were at WC, so that's good for them.
I didn't see them at MSXL.
They were not, no. And they were not at Max, but neither was Planet. Neither
Planet was at either one.
Correct.
So.
Correct. So I'm gonna.
In 2025, I guess it's a 1-for-1 so far.
I'm gonna choose from an overall tech perspective, tech support perspective. I'm picking Planet Eclipse for this. I've seen some people and consumers complaining about not being able to get a hold of people at DLX, and we don't have any problem with that. But from a business perspective, but from a consumer perspective, it might be an issue. And I don't think that Planet would ever allow that to happen on their side of things. So for that reason, I'm picking Planet when it comes to tech support.
I'll support that because I don't count anymore because my best friend's at Lux Tech and lives 20 minutes away.
Yep.
So.
And then last but not least, before we get into the shooting portions of this video, we're going to talk about upgradability. Planet Eclipse marker, it's going to be autococker thread, so that is an advantage if you want to change your barrel system. There's a couple different triggers that you can get from Infamous. When it comes to that, there is no difference in the bolt system. There is no mech frame for the Geo R5.
There's no mech frame.
And that's about it.
It's not. Here's the thing. There are going to be other triggers you can get for the Lux. I almost said TM40 for the Lux Idol. You can get other barrels. It's just gonna. It's sometimes harder to find them because of Lux threading. Not every manufacturer cares to make that. So on that, but you can get a mech frame. That's the biggest thing is you can do a mech frame. So
I'm picking Lux.
I'm gonna pick Lux just because of that mech frame. You can play whole other divisions and types of tournaments. So
and it's by far the easiest way to change it out.
Oh god, it's completely toolless.
It's better than the CS3, it's better than the 180R, it's better than DSR Plus.
Better than the Shocker, even though Shocker only has one screw, it's technically still better.
Yes, it's the premium edition of mech. So yeah, for that reason, guys, we're going to choose upgradability for the Luxe marker. 100%. So with that said, guys, really hope that we tried to breeze through this as quickly as we can, but we're trying to be as detailed as possible.
Oh, I didn't try to go quick. That's all you done.
Doug's not his usual peppy self today. But regardless of that, we are going to get into shot quality, paint handling, and efficiency. We're going to take both these markers outside, shoot both of them, and then give you guys our general impression, and then we'll see you back here in the studio to talk about which marker we're choosing for the price points. Alrighty guys, so we are outside. We've got the Luxe Idol here, and we've got my personal Geo R5 out here.
Dirty girl.
It's a little dirty. The insides are clean, so that's good. It's just the grips. So we are here to shoot both of these and give you guys our honest impression with shot quality. Talk about paint handling and efficiency real quick, but it's kind of cold outside, so we're going to do the majority of that in the studio. So with that said, no further ado, we are shooting some Draxis bronze paint. I've got a little bit of Evil paint left over from Max from last weekend, so we're going to shoot that as well. It's more about shot quality and it's about, accuracy and all that. So almost shot Doug in the foot. Okay, 286, 296, 306, 313, We're all over the place, and we are bore-sized. So I'm going to turn that down just a little bit. Okay, so we're going to redo this now that we have been able to turn down a little bit. 301, 287, 296. And just for reference, we've got the stainless steel SFR turned all the way up. I used it like that last weekend at Max for the first X-Ball event there, and it shot great, no problems throughout the day. So here we go. As you can see, it's curving a little bit. It's a little windy outside. Okay, keep her going there. And now we've got the Luxe Idol, Jax's bronze in there. Okay, 289, 292, 282. I'd say the Luxe is actually a little bit more consistent. More size and it's a little bit more consistent. Geo, it is like significantly louder.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And keep in mind, guys, this is a stainless steel SFR in the...
That's the hardest the shot would be, right?
Hardest shot it could possibly be, yeah. Doug, I'll hand it over to you.
Hell yeah.
Okay, Doug's now got the Idol.
Not T, yeah, I don't know why I keep trying to say TM40. I'm losing my marbles. Okay.
Save a little bit for the side-by-side.
I don't like doing the side-by-side quite the way that you do. It just doesn't like do it for me. God,
fair,
this is filthy. A little bit. Okay. I hear obviously the sound difference between the two, but as far as the shot goes. All right, you know what? I'm gonna blow your minds right now.
Oh God, you're gonna say the Idol, aren't you?
I'm actually gonna say, despite the ergonomics being different and one being significantly louder, I actually don't think the responsiveness of the shot is that different.
Okay.
Think about it.
Like as far as like a kick and recoil and all that stuff?
The actual shot quality, because we're all gonna, oh, it's so loud, it's so this, whatever. That doesn't matter for shot quality though. They don't shoot that. Again, this is with the SFR, the stainless steel, fully tuned for like the hardest possible shot, probably the most efficient shot, right? So maybe that's what has it so similar to this. You'd have to play with the range of things that you get with the SFR here, but it's not that different.
As far as like physical in your hands.
For the response that I feel from the markers, this current setting, not that, it's different, but it's not that different enough to make a huge difference. So for me, the fact that I like the way this marker feels in my hands better and the responsiveness is very comparable.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna go with the Luxe.
Oh, okay.
I am, but it's for a very technical reason. I'm not just like being bullshit. Like,
yeah.
At this current setting, it doesn't feel that different from the TM40. Or, Jesus, from the Idol. Just I'll keep a count. Maybe I'll keep a count if I'm not being lazy when I'm editing this. But yeah. So, and as far as efficiency goes, we did look. This is gonna get roughly like 70 to 100 shots more than the R5.
And the R5 actually did better efficiency-wise with the brass SFR than the stainless steel.
Right.
With the stainless steel, it was actually 100 to 200 extra shots from the Idol compared to the R5. So also something to consider there.
Definitely something to keep in mind.
You know, and paint handling between the two, we'll address
handle all
that
in the studio. Yeah, shot quality, guys. Joel was going with the R5. I am gonna go with the TM40, but we will revisit these. I should start like a fund, like I have to donate to something.
What is going on? All right, guys, we'll see you back in the studio.
Yep.
All righty, guys, so we are back inside after doing some shooting and talking about efficiency and paint handling between the two. If I have to choose, I'm picking the Geo. Yeah. I just trust Planet markers better when it comes to paint handling. They seem to shoot brittle paint extremely well.
I guess, yeah.
But that's very subjective. So that's very subjective. But if I had to choose, I'm going to pick the fact that you can change the bolt speed on the Geo R5, which theoretically would hopefully help with the paint handling. But Luxe also did a good job of trying to fix the rollback issues that they have with the TM40.
Yep.
So that should theoretically help with paint handling. I'm going to call it a wash on paint handling, but the Luxe definitely wins when it comes to efficiency.
That I completely agree.
All right, so let's talk about value.
Let's get a final check on prices. Luxe TM40 costs
$1,600.
Geo R5 costs
$1,650.
So for the difference of $50, what do you get? Nicer case, more efficient marker. Shot is a little bit up to your preference.
With the Geo, yeah, with the Geo you get.
Right,
oh, you're saying like
just like
yeah,
it's all preference, right? Ergonomics, preference, slightly more reliable, typically, right? Build quality is there. Mech capability. This is a really tough choice, dude. Like you kind of can't go wrong either way.
Yeah, you can't go wrong either way. I'm actually going to pick the Luxe for the just the basic, or not basic consumer, but the normal person where I'm not putting my own personal bias into the situation. Mm-hmm. I am picking the Luxe for a couple different reasons. Okay. It's $50 cheaper. Mm-hmm. I like the barrel better. It's more efficient. And shot quality to me is not a game changer in this situation. Mm-hmm. I don't like how loud it is compared to the Geo. Geo is extremely smooth shooting. Shot quality for me, Geo wins all day. But you're mech capable. The Pro Lock frame is still a unique thing to the Luxe markers, has been since the TM40. I like what they did with the back plate. I like the OLED screen. It's smaller, it's lighter. I mean, it's hard to argue with all those points unless you're going to talk about the fact that it's Planet Eclipse marker is more reliable.
But you can get a whole mech frame and play a whole other division.
Yeah, I mean, that's a game changer.
You've got a second marker built in.
Correct, and I hate the case. I'm not crazy about the case. I love the Planet case, but if we're just talking about value, if we're talking about $1,600 compared to $1,650, and what you get for that, I'm picking the Luxe.
Joel, honestly?
And to be fair, everyone's going to be like, then why are you shooting the Geo? I'm shooting the Geo because that marker, in my hands, being the size that I am, does not fit.
He's in a position where the $50 difference doesn't make that much of a difference to him, right?
Well, it's not even that. It's just, for me being such a large guy, ergonomics plays a huge role into this.
Because you shoot on a 90 or an 88?
I shoot on an 88 and I have a 90 as well. And the 90 doesn't feel good on either of these markers because they're so long. Mm-hmm. So I use my 88 Alpha, and the Geo feels great in my hands from a size perspective. That's the whole reason I'm not using the Luxe. Otherwise, I'll be using the Idol.
Otherwise, it makes total sense to use the Idol.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm also going to pick the Idol for the efficiency, the fact that you get a whole second marker pretty much built into it for a few extra $100 to get that mech frame, right? The trigger is a big one for me. Shot quality too can kind of go either way. I don't hate either one. They're both good. I agree that it's louder, but I just like I like the way it feels. It is. I like the way it feels in my hands better though. Like for you ergonomically the R5. For me, ergonomically the Luxe. It's also cheaper, right? With that $50, I can buy a case of paint, and you just get more kind of with it, I think. And I agree. Not a fan of the case, but I can hold a lot of shit with it.
Yeah, that's true.
Value-wise, I do think the Luxe is the better value purchase.
I do too. So there you guys have it. We just upheaved the entire market because the Geo is so popular. But no, guys, both great markers. Can't go wrong either way. But we are here to kind of give you guys as in-depth analysis as we can with both these markers. So with that said, really hope that you enjoyed this marker comparison video. Hope that you guys subscribe. If you guys want to pay for subscription, there is benefits to it. You are going to get members only videos. You are also going to be access videos like this weeks ahead of time. So if there's something that you really want to see, if there's product drops, we're going to have all that content uploaded and available. So check that out. But guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and you guys know where to shop.
PunishersPaintball.com at the link in the description. Also, Doug, don't be dumb. Remember to put the final scores up on the screen because people really like to see that shit. So this is your chance to look at the final scores. They're right there. Okay, thank you for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.